Hey everyone, Irit here with an art journaling process video. So I'm showing you these reference photos that I printed on my Canon selfie, and I got these from a website called Pixabay, which has tons of beautiful photos that you can use for any type of use without having to worry about the photographer's rights or anything like that. The photos there are mostly free for commercial use, and there is the details for that on every photo. So you can print them, copy them, use them however you like, as far as I understand, which is great because if you just search stuff on Google Images, then sometimes the stuff you get is protected and you can't use it. I'm not a big expert on those things, but I do know that on Pixabay the most of the things are kind of free to use. So I felt like painting some rainbows. I was having a super challenging day, and both my girls were sick, and it was just very exhausting, and luckily my mom is visiting, so I had a few moments to myself, and this video is sped up like twice as fast, so I think it took me about 20 minutes to make these. And what I'm using here are mostly my White Nights palette. I had like 5 words that I wanted to say: watercolors, 36 full pan set, palette, all those things were jumping in my mind. And what I have is kind of my modified palette. I've been really enjoying just playing around with different palettes, and obviously this one still has a ton of colors. It still has 36 colors in it, but there are more just to my personal preference. So I kind of had a breakthrough, which might seem a little bit moronic to some of you, but as I was painting this, I just kind of decided I am going to use my reference photo to, give me an idea of where to put things, and I'm definitely using the image as a reference, but I want to use colors that I love, and I feel like this is somehow, I don't know, maybe it's just for me, but I feel like this is a very difficult step to take that I really need some confidence. I mean, just, using just colors that I love and really trying to not think about what are, staples in a lot of people's palettes, and also not having to, even if I'm using a reference photo, I can just use it as a guideline and kind of ignore the colors in it and use the colors that I love. And for example, I really don't like a lot of shades of green, so I kind of switched all of those that are in the photo and went for, I really like kind of the gold green, I like lime green, and and then very, very kind of neutral green, or very muted green. So at some point, I think it was after I kind of when I switched to the teal color, I was like, yeah, I can just use the colors I love, and teal is definitely one of my favorites. For me, it's a must in any palette of mine. And the one I added to this one, I was in my art store and I was looking at which ones they had as full pans, because this palette has full pans, and I saw the Lucas brand. So I just picked up their what's this called, cobalt teal or cobalt turquoise or something like that. It has different names and different brands, but basically it's the pigment PG50, and I have that pigment from a few brands, and they are all gorgeous. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous teal that also granulates. It is not transparent, but that is a small price to pay for the gorgeousness of this color, and I just love it. So you see that that was where I kind of switched from, no, I'm not going to use that kind of dark green that is in the photo behind those rolls of hay. I don't know if you can see that, but there are like these small rolls of, those giant rolls of hay that they make for the animals, I guess in preparation of the winter. I don't know. I grew up in the city. I'm totally a city girl. I have no idea what goes on in the countryside. I see things around me and I'm not sure what they are used for. Anyway, so yeah, so that's where I switched to the teal. I was like, I'm just going to use my colors. Why not? And then for the background, kind of the those mountains and scenery behind and landscape behind my rainbow, I kind of just mixed my own kind of bluish, grayish, green colors, which I love, and used a very light hand. Now, I'm not sure that there is a lot of dimension to this photo. I don't do a lot of landscape painting, and the little bit that I've tried was, sometimes frustrating because, I don't know, it turned out flat or boring, and I just really have to remind myself to, make it my own. Use the colors I like. I can do whatever I want. I don't have to make any, true representation of what I'm seeing. I can just be inspired and, get a basic idea so I don't have to imagine a whole scene, but I can do what I want. So I don't know, maybe this is, completely clear and banal. Do you use that word in English? Again, me and my English issues. So maybe that's really like simple, but for me it was kind of a breakthrough moment. And I'm also working now on, I want to take, when I'm going somewhere traveling, I don't travel a lot, but when I do, I want to be able to take my watercolors with me, and I don't want a large set. So I'm kind of trying to figure out what colors I do want to take in a smaller set. Kind of really make it a custom palette and really create only colors that I love. But because I tend to like tertiary colors, I know that can be limiting in mixing colors. So I need to come up with, ideally I would like to have just 12 or 14 colors, and come up with my own kind of signature palette that is still not too limiting, that I can also mix kind of a variety. So I also want it to be versatile, but yeah, otherwise probably my ideal palette would just be full of purples and pinks and teals and maybe a few yellows, but kind of the more primary blues and reds are just, yeah, they're just not my colors. So I just need to figure out how to not include those in my palette, but still have a versatile palette. If you have any tips, I am happy to hear them, of course. So I'm done with my first sketch. I just loved making it, and I love how it turned out. I did add a little bit of shadows at the end. I wasn't sure exactly how to add. I didn't want to overwork it. I love that simple water-stained look, and I also liked the light values that I have mostly in that sketch. And yeah, but I just wanted to add a touch of details or like shadows, so you can see those in the close-up shots better. And now I'm moving to the other one, and the other one had even a simpler landscape. And yeah, so I'm just enjoying that, kind of picking the colors of my rainbow, and I went with a teal, a warm yellow, kind of a very yellow green, And then moving into I used orange. I also used one of the more orangey reds, which I prefer to the more, I either like my reds really, really orange or kind of not at all, and then go into the magentas. I really don't feel the, the classic reds. They're just not my personal colors. And I kind of managed to really use only colors that I love. So here I brought some cerulean to the sky, and the cerulean in the White Nights is very light. It's not very intense. I do have that color, similar one from other brands, and they are a little bit more intense than the White Nights one. But for my purposes here, I really enjoyed working with it. It is also quite opaque, so I need to kind of layer it lightly and add a lot of water to it to keep some of the transparency. And that was almost it. What bothered me on my rainbow was that the edge of the teal edge was very, very kind of sharp, and I wanted to blur it a little bit because, rainbows don't really have sharp edges. Somehow it didn't bother me on the other one. Now that I'm looking at it, I also see that the rainbow has quite sharp edges. It didn't really bother me. Maybe next time I will wet my surface first and then add the colors to get more softer edges. But yeah, I went back and blended it a bit, and it worked. That really depends on your paint and your paper. If you can go back and kind of fix mistakes or blur lines of paint that has already dried. It doesn't always work, but in this case it did. What I also want to mention is that I'm using my number 14 Escoda Perla brush, round brush, and I love this line of the Escoda Perla brushes. I really love them, and I use them all the time. They kind of become my go-to brushes. I will link to everything in the description box. And this one, I have to say, it's quite a large size of brush to work with, but I enjoyed it. And yeah, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this kind of short video, and that you feel inspired to go and paint some rainbows. They're so pretty. Thanks for watching. Have a lovely day. Bye.